back in 5. Uh, Hopefully, if there are more people, then start like that. Uh, yeah. Okay, man. See you in 5 minutes from now. Yeah. guys hear me? Oh, okay. Is it there now? Okay, cool. I'm so sorry. I had my camera on and I was just blabbering away without looking at OBS. So let me quickly go through that again. So this is the scene that we left off last time. And in Photoshop, what I did was, I hope you guys got to see the turntable, but I have this turntable, and I put my product down here, and I shot in manual with a tripod when I did my actual shoot. And as you can see, because I don't have softboxes, I used my computer monitors as softboxes. I put a pure white background and shot it like this. So this was our file from last time. Okay, sound is very low, so let's increase that. Is it better now? Testing 1 2 3. Echo Lima Victor Charlie. Okay, all right. Thank you, Hugo. So I don't know why in chat in stats it's just showing one view. I guess, but let's see. Initially it was showing, and funny enough, when I go to user in chat, okay, it's showing 2 users. Strange stuff. So, anyways, back into 3ds Max. So if you press and hold Alt and middle mouse drag, it rotates. If you press Control and middle mouse drag, it pans. And if you press Control and Alt, you can zoom in and zoom out in perspective view. Now, so you get top, front, left. You can press Alt W to zoom in, but you have to make sure that the window is selected. See this orange line? Yeah. So you left click to do this. In my, you just go to the other one and press spacebar, and it makes the view big or small. Now, same thing for orthographic views. You can press Control and Alt and Control to pan. And if by mistake you press Alt and middle mouse drag and rotate, see it says orthographic view now. This is like a lot of CAD modeling softwares show things. But if you want to go back to your normal views, just press T for top, or left for left, F for front. And you can even click on this and select if you want right view or bottom view, you can do that. Another thing that can happen is, let me make this a bit bigger. Normal size, apply, yeah. So here also it shows which view you are on. You can rotate it like this, yeah, and the other way around. Same with this triangle, small triangles. If you want to go to bottom, back view, things like that, yeah, or front, right, back, left, front. Okay, so let's quickly start setting this thing up now. I'll remove this teapot. Now in this menu, this is your standard creation menu. You get a lot of primitives and effects things, whatever you want to do. This is the main creation menu. So you can create box, and this is basically your 3D side of things. So box, sphere, all the basic things that you can start off modeling with. Then there's extended primitives where you get torus knot, chamfer box, so it will come with a bit of chamfering. See how soft when I drag it becomes, the edges. And if you press F4, by the way, you get this wireframe on shaded view. Yeah, so let me get rid of this. This is for your 2D things, like if you want to draw splines. I highly recommend not to do this in 3D viewport. Ideally, if you are tracing something, you want to do it in your orthographic views, and then use other modifiers, which we'll get to soon. Then you have got your lights according to different renderers, so we'll be sticking to V-Ray. So V-Ray lights, there's standard lights, Arnold. Same thing here, you get cameras. So down here, depending on your render, you select the camera and create it. Then hi Boris, how are you, man? So we have just started. Nothing much, man, just streaming, second stream. So yeah, I just showed how I shot my last thing, because Dennis in 3D, he had a question for that. I have a small turntable, I put it on that with a tripod, shoot it in manual, and use my monitors as softboxes, because I didn't have, I still don't have professional lights. That all will happen in time, slowly. Oh, there are a lot of more people now. It shows 6 viewers, but chat is not showing that yet. So anyways, then this is helpers. So you can create things like dummies, and I'm jumping the gun here a bit, but dummy is I guess they're shy. I don't know, like I'm seeing users in chat. So okay. Oh, hi Anderson. I was just talking about you. There's Tickies as well. Teekiz. Tickies. I'm sorry, man, if I'm screwing up your name. I wish there was a way like OBS Zoom meetings, where users in chat can probably talk to you as well, like I can unmute or something. That would be a cool feature for Twitch. Anyways, then you get containers, crowd, tape measure, really important thing. So you can measure things from point A to point B. Down here it shows length, so it's 101. I think we are using centimeters. So yeah, centimeters. So this is from this point, from the base of that triangle to this square is 107, right? And I can prove this. So if you also on these things down here, if you right click, it kind of puts the values to zeros. And now obviously this I want to zero out in y axis, so I'll make it y, so, and let's make it even 50, right? So from here to here it's 50 units, and if I select my tape, it says 50. Now here's the fun part. If I say specify length, I can make this smaller or bigger, the tape. See, the green line is increasing, and this is really helpful if you are doing precise modeling for things. And this thing then will just control the direction then. So you got a fixed length and you can move it around. Even in this view, it doesn't matter, and it will always be at 83 or 80, for example, right? I like to round off numbers. It becomes much more easier to model things. So yeah, that was tape. Quickly going to that, another thing, so there's protector, influence, there's a compass as well. It's actually just used for using daylight system. We'll get to that when we get into lighting rendering side of things. So then there's space wraps. This is more to do with dynamics side of things. So let's say you have an explosion and you need wind, drag, or things. Sorry, let me just put my phone on silent. Okay, there we go. So and then you got utilities. So this is with rigging side of things, and then there's V-Ray stereo rig. So this is your create panel, this plus, right? This is where you can create things. Then you have your modify panel. So modify panel is okay, let me just create a plane, and if I go here, by the way, if you press G, you can show and hide and hide the grid. So in modify panel, I can change, after I created something, I can change the number of spans. See these white lines, they are increasing and decreasing. They are called edges, right? And I can increase the I see you, Gogara, I come. Hi, Diogo Sampaio. Hey man, welcome to the channel, and thank you for coming. So yeah, here you can modify things, but more than this, what we will be using is, let me just reset this. So F3. So these things are called edges, and if I right click this and say convert to editable poly, you go. One thing though, Max is not there on for Mac unless you do parallels. Just a heads up. But anyways, once I get into modeling, which will be in next 10 minutes, we'll start modeling this. You can apply the same features, and I think I might as well do a Maya one. So I have bootcamp on. Oh, okay. But I don't know. I find bootcamp to be slow with 3D things, but if it works, hey, go for it. But for heavy stuff, I would recommend directly go into parallels for sure, because then you are getting full computation power. You're not running two OSs. Yeah, so things become slow, you know. Yeah, bootcamp is bootcamp is what oh yeah. Yes, sorry, I was thinking about like virtual VMware, where in OS X it comes. Yes, you need to run Windows native. Yes, exactly. So anyways, after you create something, now because I right click and say editable poly, you can see that my plain thing is gone. I can never ever go back to this unless I undo it. Control Z is undo like any other software. But make sure you make this things install of Windows. Oh yeah, I just remembered. I'm sorry, man. I mixed up the names. So yeah, back to this. Make sure you have when you start modeling, you have your basic things with correct parameters as you want, because once you convert to this, it's basically my stack is collapsed and it's gone forever, so I cannot change that. Another way to do that, if you want to keep these things, is if you click here, modify list, and why is it not opening? Oh yeah, oh, it was slow. Yeah, so if you click on this, you get all the modifiers that 3ds Max has to offer, and if you press E, it will jump to the edit mesh. By the way, you can do same things in edit mesh as editable poly, extrude things and all that, but the standard is editable poly, because the tools are much better. You can do things like edge loops and all. So you can add a editable poly modifier, and as you can see, I have customized my modifiers that I used regularly up here, and you can do that from here, configure modifier sets, and if you click on this, you can find all the modifiers from here. You can increase numbers, so, and then just for example drag and drop this here, yeah, and press OK, and you'll have it there forever. Can I go back to 10? Yep. Okay, so staying. So yeah, in this case, you have to think of modifiers as layers in Photoshop, right? So your bottom layer, sort of like that, you can hide and hide modifiers, and that this is going to be a huge part of our workflow. So editable poly, I'm gonna collapse that this, because I definitely don't, it's just a plane. I can easily convert this, right, make this, right. So right click, collapse all. It shows me a warning that if I collapse it will go away and all. So I'll just say yes. So yeah, so editable poly, 1, 2, if you press 2, if you press 1, it will be in vertex mode. If you press 2, it will come to edges. 3 is border. We'll get into this. Basically it's the outer borders or open borders that it finds. It will select all of them. Then you have got polygon mode, so you can select the face, right, and then you have got element. So we'll get into this very quickly. Yeah, basically same thing as WER. So move, E is for rotate, R is for scale. You can't scale a single point, but if you press W and move this around, same thing for edges. Also, one quick tip: if you press shift and drag this, you can extrude things and move this around or anything, right? So okay, now let's quickly set up this image planes, right? So here is something I picked up from a channel, a guy called Artem. I don't know if it's his name. He has a YouTube channel. So the traditional way to model things would be to duplicate this. So you can press Ctrl V and you can instance it. So any changes I make to one will happen to another one, but shaders and transforms will be unique. This is really good when you are modeling things and making huge set pieces. Imagine thousands of objects. If they are instances, it's much more memory efficient while rendering and on your live viewport. If you say copy, it will make a unique copy of this. So you can have different transforms to each other, and reference, we'll get into that. It's like instance, but anything you do to your main object, it will get added to the new one, and then you'll get a divider in modifier stack, and above that modifier thing you can have unique modifiers. So it's also quite useful at times. So in this instance, I'm just gonna instance this, and I'll say I had top and bottom, so top. Okay, and over here I'll turn on my angle snap, and if you right click on this, you can go into settings. I personally like 45 degrees. 90 degrees is a bit too much for me, so if I press E and see how it snapped at 45 degree angle, and if I go here, see it just snapped. So it's really cool. So let me go in top view. Now if you see, my image plane is not in the center of the world. This is because I'll be modeling here. So in orthographic view, it always shows down flat, so it doesn't matter. But you want to pull your things a bit behind, you know. Originally it would be here on grid 0, 0, 0. So pull that back. I'll pull this guy up, and okay. So you know what, editable poly, there is one thing I'm going to do to this, because I have a copy of my square over here. If you select edges, select this guy, I can click on ring and it selects all these guys. Okay, if I double click this edge, it selects a loop. So if they are continuous like this, they are called loops, and if they are spaced like that, they are called rings, and it's a huge part of modeling workflow. So I'll select my ring and click connect over here, right? And see, I got a new edge loop between them. Now I can move this up and down, right? Another thing I can do is, let's say I need 2 loops. I can say 2, 3, 4, whatever, and they'll be always equally spaced. And if I come back to this, and I can increase and decrease the spacing between them using this. Yeah. So let's come back to this, and I'll move my loop just at my bottom. Say okay. I did this because I want to line this line up with this, so I can see it in viewport. I was finding it hard. Another way to do same thing would be just go to material and make it a bit semi-transparent, but both of them works. So yeah, go to this guy. Now obviously I need this guy in top view and center while he's sitting out there, because I duplicated this guy. So W, I'll zero out the transformations for that. Yeah, and I'll pull this guy down and press G. M is for material editor, by the way, and you can open it from here as well. So I'll duplicate this, so left click drag on the next one, and I'll name this top view, and select my top image. What's up guys, okay, apply that, and I had a bottom one as well, so I'll just duplicate this for now, select this and select my bottom image. Now I'll probably keep on modeling on top and bottom from the same view. Oh yeah, so see, I didn't change my name of my material. Oh yeah, by the way, if you are inside like bitmap or something, you can click this to go to a node up. Yeah, so because this is called top view, and if I go back on top for this guy as well, see, both of them are called top view. So as soon as I went to assign this, it warned me, hey, there is a material with this name that exists, so rename the material. Yes, I would like to, or replace it. So I'll say bottom view. Okay, and as you can see, it's applied over here. Yeah. One more thing, I'm not liking this pinkish wireframe. It's a bit distracting, so I'll probably take gray. Use contrasting color and whatever is easier to your eyes. Hey Anderson, I think it's a bit old chat message. Hi man, welcome to the stream. I think I said hi already, but you just said hello, so yeah. You know what, let's I know this is not precise, but we might as well use it, right? Let's see. So quickly jumping up here and checking if I've got a rough match, which it seems to be. Yeah, I have more or less the cap and height. So like last time, I'm going into my pen tool, Control plus, zoom in, and quickly and very rough dirty mask, because I don't need to be precise, as this particular bottle was not shot precisely. I mean this view, the others were. So and as it is, I'm just going to use this front plane from here to here and this thing over here, just to approximate things in my modeling side of things. Also I can do this because I have the actual bottle in front of me, so if I need to go and be precise with my reference, then I can. So select path, go here, apply mask, close this, zoom out, press Ctrl S, Ctrl Shift S, and work max scene assets, images, JPEG, and I'll say this is side view. Alright, cool. So I'll take this guy because I mean I can take this guy as well. Press E. I'm holding shift, and if I rotate, I've got a new one. So I'll call this image reference plane side. Okay, now I need to see this. This is y-axis. The same thing is replicated here on the bottom left. So on y-axis I need to zero this out. Press M, duplicate this guy, rename it to side view, click on my material editor slot and change my bitmap from there. So side view, open, and apply. So I've got my front side and all of the views sorted. Second thing, because my red bottle was leveled, you can see that the red one is sitting on that grid, so is this, and I'll just move this back in x-axis. Now if I press G, this is where we'll make our model. Now this one thing, this is a request and a tip, or like ground rule for 3D. I won't say rule, but it is nice to have. Always please make your models center to the world and model up. In layout, when you're doing animation in layouts, during layouting phase you can move things along. There's something called referencing pipeline in 3D. This is for the junior guys, right? So what happens is, when you model and texture or create an asset, it goes to something called a layouting department, or you might be in charge of doing that as well. So and this is especially more true in Maya. Max has referencing, but I don't like it as much. I'm sure there are better ways to do that, but that is for later part of like second or third series of the tutorial. But all in all, what happens is 3D and animation and VFX pipeline goes modeling, texturing, it goes into rigging, layout, effects. So if your model is there in center and they are referencing your model into their file, so let's say art director or client comes and says, oh, I don't like this model, can we do these changes or replacements? You don't have to go into every file and do that manually again, because if you have that pipeline in place, you just need to update your model down here, and it will trickle down the pipeline with correct transforms and everything into the next steps. So and for that reason, it's always good to have your let me isolate this selection. So right click, isolate selection, it will hide everything temporarily, and I'll zero this out. So right clicking on this again zeroes things out. So imagine how nice it would be if your things are right in the center of the world. What I've seen a lot of times is, for example, like people have modeled things like this, and it's really uncool. For example, let's say you are layouting and this is a model of a tree. If your pivot point is on the bottom and it's halfway down, and there is a ground plane here, so let me just quickly click up, make a plane, and crazily increase this, and add a noise modifier, fractal, increase this, and raise the strength, frequency. Yep. Okay, so imagine this was your terrain and you had to please this guy. There are tools, they take your pivot point, and maybe your pivot was not here, right? It was in the center of the object as well. When you are painting those things, it needs to be here. It should not be here unless and until it's a requirement, right? Another thing for games, it's something that is called modular assets. For that, you need to snap things. So imagine this is a facade of a building, like one repeating pattern, and in that case your pivot, you might be working something like this. So if I go to my top view, you may have something like this, right? Or this side or this side, depending on the requirements set by the supervisors at the start of the project. I personally like this. So affect pivot, and if I do 0 0 0, and then okay, so there is this bug in 3ds Max. I don't know if it will happen or not, but I just resetted my pivot. So pivot point is from where your model rotates and all the transformations happen. So scale, move, rotate, right? But Max has this thing. It didn't do right now, but sometimes what happens is, from W, when affect pivot only is on, if you press E, your circle will be here, this rotation circle, and after a second or something it will snap to the place, and same for the scale one. So if you press R, so it's a good practice to just quickly press WER like I'm doing right now, and that way you can make sure that all of them have come in the same place. Otherwise it might happen that the circle remained there and you press E, so you're moving from this place, right? but as soon as you see it's rotating from the it's a whole bug. I don't know why they have not fixed it. For 3D snaps, so you can turn on 3D snaps toggle, and here if you right click on it, you get all these options. So you can snap it to grid points, other vertices, edges, faces, etc. So I'll keep it on vertex. Let's do vertex. So if I do vertex, right, and I press W and I click on this, press shift, and see I can snap this to this. Okay, and I can this is how game engines work. People make one facade and then they start duplicating different shapes, and that's why pivot points are extremely important, and also having things in the right place. And so a lot of people call this water level, grid, whatever. So they might use different words, but you want everything in positive on ground, right? So let's get back to modeling. So now F3 is to show the shaded view. Yeah, so as you can see, I've got my front, top, side. I can hide this, guys. So layer explorer, and I can hide this, so then I get bottom view. Now like I was saying, after watching Artem work, I was like, wow, this is a cool technique which I can use. So what he does is he keeps all the views in the same viewport, right? So let me show you an example. And as a matter of fact, I'm planning to work like that because it's just much more efficient, because I can just be in 2 views and be done with it, instead of keeping an eye on 3 very small views, right? So bring this guy here, move this on the side, take this, duplicate, copy, okay, take this guy, bring him in this view as well, right? And over here, then my bottom top view, so bring this guy, okay, and get my top, right, and bring this here and bring this to here. Sean Fontaine, hi Sean Fontaine, welcome to the stream, man. So I'll hide these guys, I don't need them right now, and for these guys I'll just take them in a new layer. Single ng viewport method, and I'll bring it in this. Another thing I can do now is I'll just right click and I'm trying to get my dock, yeah, and viewport layout tabs. Now I can go and select, most of you guys will have this viewport layout tab like this somewhere, like that. So I don't like this tab, it takes real estate, so I just close it and bring it when I want. So if you come here, you can select this different views, just like any other 3D softwares. Even 2D softwares these days have tabs, example Nuke, even After Effects has tabs. This thing happens usually when you have 3D viewports, so you can have top, side, front, etc, etc. I'm going to select this 2x2. So now if I go to I'll make this front view F3, and this I'll use it for my perspective view, right? F3. So this is front. I need to take these guys on the other side, so they are behind the grid, right? Now let's quickly line things up. I don't like I said, I don't like things over water level, so I'll just bring these guys down here and make them touch here, and we can start modeling. So front one will be my main view. Before jumping into things, there is one more thing that I like to do is first 0. Let's line these guys up and bring them back. This is something I suggest to all my colleagues as well. Before jumping into any project, analyze your subject. Just don't jump into it. In your head, think how you want to make it, and spend 15-20 minutes, so that's the rest of the stream today, we'll be thinking about a nail polish. Just kidding, guys. So no, it's really helpful in life projects that you think about what you're going to make in your head, and try and model things in your head once you know how to model and all the tools. This will help you to think that, oh, by doing this I can get into this kind of trouble, and then your brain will give you answers like, oh, maybe I can try this. It will save a lot of time if you give some time upfront, trust me on that one. So yeah, I have this model. I'll just quickly see. It's a bit rounded on top, down here. It's a flat shape, so maybe I can use a cube to start modeling this, right? Sorry, down there. So it's quite flat. It's little bit rounded, right? It has some details. Okay, it's not focusing. There's this very small details down there. We may or may not add them. Second golden rule of 3D: if you're not going to see it, no need to make it. But having said that, for things like this, because it's a transparent object and light will pass through it, and that is where your caustics, reflections and refractions happen, we'll have to make this all 360. But I can just skip this small text on the backside in texturing process because it's just not going to be visible, right? And yeah, and even there is some lettering down on the bottom. So see this small details. I think we may or may not make them. If it helps us with caustics, we will, and in that case I'll probably just go to ZBrush and try and replicate what's happening here. It's like kind of a bumpy thing, and if I make it, you guys will see. But there's some 25 kind of thing embossed in the glass itself, and this text, I'm not gonna make that. There's no need. This boss lady thing we can get rid of because this is what they are selling, and this is probably the name of this nail polish color type, right? So in packaging shots you won't have this boss lady. Anyways, mostly it will be sitting like that. But if camera is a bit 3/4, or if it happens to come, client wouldn't want this on top. They would usually say keep this plain because that's what their product is. Now see this, it reads Color Police. I think that's the brand name. This is really flat but really glossy down there. See how glossy that part is? It's reflecting. Yeah. So this can very easily be done in texturing by creating two different material surfaces for that and using a mask to blend that in. So we might do this because it's so small. I don't know, I might go into making a variant in the end where we have a embossed text as if it's carved into the surface. Let me know if you guys would like to see that. I'll be more than happy to do that. Then this branding we need to make, and so yeah, let's get started. So first things first, I think it's almost like a cube, so let's just start with a simple cube. So again, in your create panel, create box, you can come to perspective view and just left click, drag, and when you let go of click you can drag up and it will create a box for you, right? I'm gonna change its color to gray so it's easier on the eyes, and obviously I'm not centered to my grid, and here is the position, so I'm gonna say 0 0 0. Okay, now second thing, let's make it into a perfect cube. It's always good to simplify things. So 10 by 10 by 10. Oh yeah, actually I'll call this my dimension cube. Sorry, I forgot about that. What was I thinking? So and dimension volume, right? So dimension volume is something I do. So I have dimensions for this which I had measured last time. Let me open that over here. So I was 7 centimeters in height and 3 centimeters in width. Okay, so let's do that. So I'll create a box which is height is 7. Let's zoom in. Width is this, so this is 3, and because I have the product and I forgot with my measure tape, I just roughly see how much is this. So the narrow end, like if you see, it's a bit rounded, right? So I'm measuring the slim narrow edge, and I know this thing will come out accordingly. So this is about roughly a little bit about, how much is this actually? Let me try from this guy, 3 to 4, 4 to 5. So this is about 2 centimeters. So I'll say 3, and my length, which is this, will be 2 centimeters. So that's my dimensions. Now if okay, now obviously my bottles are gigantic. So let's scale all of this down. Take all of this, and okay, so here there are different types how you can scale things together or something. So use pivot point center, so it will take whatever selected object is, and it will take its center. And because I have multiple selected, it's between all the objects. Then there is this which says use selection center. So okay, did I select that? And then this one is for individual ones. Okay, so if I hover over it, it says transform coordinate centers. So right, so let me get this bottle and affect pivot only. Actually I think everyone has it centered. Yeah, so I'll just select this, affect pivot only, bring it down to here, right? And to be more precise, I'll just zoom in and bring it around there. And W E R. Okay, same thing for this guy, affect pivot only, bring this down over here, WER, do that. Trust me, that snap thing will happen, and when it happens it will be highly visible. It happens, WER. Maybe because these are simple geometries, it's doing it really quickly. So bring this guy over here, WER. Okay, so select all of these. I'll select this guy, and this is funny. Nope. And for objects, yeah, there we go. So looking at this guy, I'll scale this down now. So and if you see, all of them are getting scale in place. So let's scale this down, and I've selected the cube, and if you press because you see there is this white selection line, it's not highly visible due to colors, but if you press Z and press Control X, Alt X, you can do see-through mode, right? Let's bring this closer, and these guys closer as well. Press zoom, Z for zoom. Yeah, select all of this, press R, and W, move this here, press R, scale this about there, and bring this here, right? So now I've got my dimensions roughly same, my image planes are of correct size, and let's keep that much space. Bring this over here, bring this guy on the grid point, bring this guy over here, and bring him closer as well. Actually, let's keep these guys really close, because I have this blue area around the things, so that gives me extra space either ways. So yeah, and oh, this is my center line. And why is my box front view? Alt W. Okay, my box needs to be centered, so yeah, and take these guys and move them here. Okay, so I know that my model needs to stay within this volume. Okay, so I'll freeze this, probably keep this for now. I'll control V again, say copy, and say cap. Okay, and I'll bring this to a new layer called modeling or model, right? I can hide my dimension layers because I know this cap is matching, and here's where the fun begins. So unfreeze this because I'd frozen that thing. So I'm just going to right click and say editable poly, yeah, and press 1 and bring this up because I'm the first thing that I'm making is the top cap part, which is this, yeah. Another setup thing, now as you can see, oh yeah, if you press spacebar things get locked in Max. You can see here you don't want to do that right now. So first things first, my box is there, my pivot point is here, as you can see, and this is really helpful in current case scenario. Obviously I would move this probably up to the bottom of the lid later on, but what I'm gonna do is, for my side view, I'll make bring this on the side and click instance, press OK, and I'll rotate this EWER. Okay, I'll turn on my snap and rotate it like this, so I can have that. For this I just need the top view for the cap. I don't need the bottom view right now, so, and plus I don't have a photo of just the cap. So again, instance, and zoom in, press E and get my top view. So bring this up, and if I go here I can line this guy up, right? Now see, here's the beauty. If I go to my vertex and select my top view, things are changing, and if I do this, see, so I just need to be in these two views and I can model. I hope you see the benefits of it. Instead of moving your hand so much, it's just more ergonomic because there are two views instead of going into 4 quadrants every time. And I've really started doing this a lot lately because I can have like a full overview of things. As a matter of fact, I'll just move this guy over here because we are modeling this first, and bring this over here. So in one view I can see my front, left, right, everything. So I'll click my Q, press Alt X, Alt X. Okay, so it's in see-through mode. So let's quickly start bringing things in place. Select all of the vertices, bring them here, and now it's just like tracing, really. Nothing too special. Maybe bring this guy a bit out, bring this up, and obviously there is one thing that I didn't do. Alt X is another tip. You don't need to model the whole thing, right? If you just select these guys and press connect, right, and select this half in your polygon mode, simply press delete. Now you can have symmetry on top, so SY, it gives me a symmetry modifier, and I'll just flip this. So Now if I go here, this test tube kind of looking thing is show end result on off toggle, right? So all I need to do now is model one half, other is made. If you you can even make like quarter, like let me show here, it will make more sense. Where is my big pen? Yep. So I can just make let's take a contrasting color. I can just make this much part of a model and use symmetry, because this and this is mirrored right over here, and this as a whole is mirrored on this side over here. So theoretically I can just make this 1/4, and let's do that instead of modeling the whole thing, right? It's just more efficient. So instead of modeling everything, and because I have instance, you can see all of these guys also have that, and wow, those guys are really back. Let's just you're like, oh, we are left over in the party, why? So let's bring them close so I can see things. Okay, one thing, like my grid is too big. If you want like smaller divisions, you can right click on this, right, this guy, snaps toggle, right click, come to user grids, home grid, and you can change this grid spacing. So maybe I can have grid units every 5 units or every 1 unit, and accordingly it makes things big or small. And yeah, let's keep it to 1 because this is very small. And if I make a cube and say 1 1 1, oops, 1, if you see from top, see this is exactly 1 unit. So it helps. I'll zoom this. Oh wow, we've been streaming for 1 hour. So let me quickly set this guy up and then take a 10-minute break. Yeah, does that sound good, guys? Or you guys want to keep on going? Okay, while I wait, I'll just quickly connect this guy anyways. You guys can listen and you are able to see, right? The chat is really quiet. I hope you guys are not sleeping or saying, oh man, what is this guy showing us? Connect, and nope. Am I on live? Is this real? Okay. All right, so I'm not by myself. Thank you, Hugo. So I'll just so yeah, another cool thing, you can copy and paste modifiers. So I'll just paste it. Now as you can see, it shows the direction and x-axis, right? See x, and here it's on x. I need to make symmetry on y now, so I make y, and voila. And see, if I select this and show end result on off, and it would really help if you set a shortcut key to this. People should have questions. Come on, people. I think maybe the guys are too advanced and this is really the starting in basics, so they maybe no questions, maybe they know how to use it. So yeah, so you should ideally put a shortcut to this. Let's do that quickly. So customize user interface. This thing is really slow. I don't know why. I hate this thing in Max. We set up shortcut for this as soon as it opens, and then let's take a quick 10-minute break, and I'll try and finish this model of today, guys. To be honest, I'll try my best. Let's see. So all commands, it was called show end result. So if I press show symmetry, nope, end result, Toggle, nope, I'm in all commands. S save sh o show all grids, toggle show all toolbars, show end result here. So I think so yeah, this is the confusing part, right? It has show end result twice. One of them is for editable poly and other one is for editable mesh. Editable mesh is I would be even bold enough to say that it's kind of legacy thing. I don't know of anyone who uses it yet, because you don't get that edge loop and edge ring selection straight away. Even the modeling toolset which comes up here, the ribbon tools, I don't think it works with editable mesh. I think it only works with editable poly C. So maybe it does. I'll have to check. But yeah, I don't know why editable mesh even exists. Like I said, I don't know of anyone personally who's still using this. Yeah. So anyways, mostly the top one is editable mesh and the bottom one is editable poly. So I'm gonna add I don't need this read all or maybe let's see, shift this. Okay, shift and the key above tab, it has like this small comma kind of a thing and it has a tilde thing. I have a US keyboard. That's what they have in, excuse me please, in India. So I'm just gonna save that. It's not assigned to anything, it's safe to assign it. Let's test this. Select this, shift and okay, it's not working. So it was the top one, I'm sorry. So shift and this, assign, and select this guy. Nope, not working. Why is that? Was it this one? Assign. It's not working for some reason, guys. Maybe I need to close this user interface, but let's see. Show end result, motion paths, entire motion paths. Okay, which one is it? Shift this, assign. Okay, let's do this. Oh yeah, see, it's turning on and off. So if I select this and I can quickly turn things on and off, right? Best part, now I just need to think of quarter of a model, and like these kind of things, if you do, and this is where I was talking about planning, right? If you plan your things in advance, you can save so much time. Like a lot of times people come and say this is not possible in this much time, and usually it is like, okay, either you're not putting in the effort or you don't know your software enough. Because if you think and have right processes, things can be made fast. Obviously there is a limit to it, but working smart saves you time. It gives you more time in doing things that you like, right? So let's take a 10-minute break. It's almost time, and I'll call this, come on, why is it so slow? Okay, countdown timer. Should we take 5 minutes break? Why max and not my? So you go. This like this kind of a thing is very simple, And I'm taking this tutorial as more for print side of things, hence Max and not Maya. Okay, let me show you. So Max has amazing procedural textures, which I use them a lot. So if I go to my general, so there's something called work on maps. So if I say, let's say, work on noise, and turn this show end result, open this guy, right? I can select my different noise types, and it has already 4, right? So let's say I take Berlin 3D, then I can select a secondary noise, which is FBM, which gives me different results. I can go FBM turbulence, heterotrain, and I can increase the levels of complexity, and let's go with FBM turbulence and maybe simplex 3D. And then furthermore, I can add distortion to it, like you have in Nuke. So I can use another map to drive this map. So let me take checker, so it's really visible, and maybe do tiling of 2 by 2. And if I come back up and increase my strength, why is this not showing? Yeah. Okay, let me decrease the size, increase the size. Sorry guys, just one second. Fine, 108. Yeah. Oh, sorry guys, got some circular for my building. We'll have to read that later on. So yeah, let's increase this size so it's really apparent. And oh yeah, sorry, in strength I need to put that. So copy. Nope, does it want to show? 10 by 10. Maybe now it will show. No. Okay, for some weird reason, this thing is not updating right now. Maybe I should just take another noise map. Select this guy and say a normal noise. Where is it? Pro simplex Berlin noise. Discard old map. Okay. And fractal turbulence. Yeah. And so let's see. I don't know. Oh yeah, see, it just updated. So I can use another map to drive this map to get distortions, and I can start creating procedural networks. And like I said, for procedural things, Max has a lot of them. They are really nice. One thing that I don't like in Max is in Maya, I can split my channels out here in RGB and A. From whatever output, it's directly not there. There are other things through which it would be able, you can split things out, but it's not very convenient. But yeah, for print side of things, hands down, this is really fast. And yes, recently Maya has upgraded, I mean not recently, they took over the new modeling toolset in Maya. There used to be a plugin called NEX. I think this was back in 2007 or 8ish roughly. So that is what your modeling toolset is. So Maya's modeling used to be painful, but yeah, after NEX it has become better. And yes, I also agree that UV unwrapping is so much better in Maya. So I'll probably unwrap this thing in Maya. I don't like Max unwrap thing, and I switch between all the softwares. For me, it is more being more efficient and saving time. So whichever software I find does this better and it's more efficient and fast, I just go to that. So I find modeling to be better currently in Max, and plus I have this layer stacks, so I can turn these things on and off, right? This is another difference. In Maya, yes, there's it preserves the history, but if you go back somewhere in history and try to modify things, it usually breaks. While here I can just turn off the symmetry, or if I had a smooth applied and maybe there were two divisions, I can just turn it on and off in Maya. And yeah, just like Maya, I can right click and say collapse all, and then it's gone. It's like deleting history in Maya. But as you can see, I can bring this thing before the symmetry, after the symmetry, and layer of order of operations also matters. So yeah, that's why if there is modeling, I usually stick to this. If there is precision modeling, so Maya doesn't snap properly. This is something I have seen. So when I was talking about games, what happens is you need your locator at precision grid, and that I mean, unless it's 000, I'd seen like it used to leave like one hairline thing in Max, and when I was working in games. So that is something I discovered, that why was my light leaking when I took things to Unreal Engine, and we found out that Max was leaving ever so slightly small space with precision. So for that, we exported all our models to Maya, snapped the vertexes in the right place, snapped that model then to the grid, and brought it back. So yeah, I mean, whatever software does the best. So break for 5 minutes, and on create free countdown there. I think, yeah. Oh wow, no, not 52 minutes. Let's just use this, and I'll say break for 10 minutes. MINUTES. Alright guys, see you in 10. I'll mute this. testing. All right. Oh, I didn't do what I had suggested in my first video, save files. Okay, crap. Max will crash on you. It always does. Let's see if there is an autosave. I hope I had it on. Work. What's that noise? Battery is dying on my headphones, so sorry for that. Auto back, please be there. Yes, date modified. I might have an auto backup, yay. So unlike Nuke, the auto back is not so efficient. I mean, it's there, but for simple scene files it will work. And as you can see, I can see that it has. Let's see how much we lost. Okay, Max is alive. File, open recent, open, and I'll click on this, go to Max, auto back, version 6, open. Oh yeah, lucky. So file, save as, and go to my scenes, and I'll version this up because I had a crash. Save. Okay. By the way, if scene files become really heavy, go to customize. Oops. Customize preferences, and under files, turn off auto backup off. This is if your file is taking like half an hour, 1 hour to save, or increase that time to every 2, 3, 4 hours. Then I don't know. So, okay, modeling concepts. So we are modeling this quarter, which will give us the full shape of the top of the bottle. Another thing I want to add on top is turbo smooth, right? It basically smooths this, but see how I lost my shape, right? And that, I'll add 2 divisions or maybe even 3. It's too low res right now. Another thing you can do is turn on isoline display, so it only shows you the base model edges and vertices, which is this. So if I turn this on and go to vertex mode, you'll see a cage in orange and model things inside. So this brings us to support loops, right? Let's quickly first set up our our basic model in this view. I'll turn off my grid, F3, oops, Alt X to go transparent, and for this guy I don't want all the edges now, so I'm pressing Control and double clicking on these edge to select these edge loops. I'll press G to so it's a bit less confusing, and I'm pressing Alt and I'll let this guy be, I guess, and this, and press Control / to delete those. Now it seems that my center line is perfect, but it's not aligned with my grid, right? So I'll just move this guy so it's aligned with my grid. See? Yeah. And okay, now we are aligned. So let's start modeling this. Go into that, press 1. I'll turn this on. I don't have my turbo smooth on yet because I have not still added my support loops. So here's support loops, right? Now if I turn on my turbo smooth and show my end result, it's like this. What I need to do is select this, I'll hit ring. So if I turn this off, see it has selected these guys, right? And I'll say connect and move this guy over here. While doing this, now I'll turn on my turbo smooth to see that how much of a crease I'm getting. And also for modeling, here's another tip. If I go to my compact material editor, you always I mean, instead of you can do this with V-Ray material as well actually. So make this pure black, go really dark on the shader and apply that. I'll just exit out of this guy for now. And you want to increase your reflectivity. So see, I got a little bit of a highlight, and if I increase my glossiness, that highlight is really spreading out. And I want to get a darker shader, so just to make the point across. Okay, so like this you can see how your highlights are behaving when you rotate in the viewport. And this, my friends, is really helpful with support loops, so you know how rounded your edge need to be or how sharp. Now if you this edge, it's like almost razor sharp. Down here, and I don't have a 3/4 view of this bottle. Let me see. I may have in photography. Do I have? This is there. This maybe. Let's see. So see how sharp this edge is on the top. It's a bit defocused, but it's really sharp. But you don't want to make things too sharp in 3D because it will give you something called blade reflections. They are like 1 or 2 pixel thin reflections, and that usually doesn't look good in products. And if you're in games, I've seen people making things even a bit more rounder because real-time engines won't be able to usually read that really hard edge. And if you Google for blade reflections, reflection CG maybe. Nope, Google doesn't want to show. 3D rendering. Well, basically, see, this thing also has some sharpness to it, but usually it's like, imagine 1 pixel reflections, and they look really terrible. I'm sorry I can't find an example for that, but and usually you don't, because modelers do make it always a little bit softer, so you don't you avoid those in rendering. But yeah, I can't find an example. So anyways, let's hit connect, and you have to click this checkbox, not connect. If you do connect, it will just take the last settings and apply it. So the checkbox, and now I can come in and see how sharp I want things to be. See, now I'm doing the front corner edge, which is this edge. Now this is a bit rounded. See how the reflections, yeah, see that transition in light, so it has some roundness to this. So I'm looking at my reference, and it's still quite sharp. I'll close this, and so I'll be looking at this edge over here. So let's see, and if I press F4, I can hide the wireframe inside, so it's a bit easier to see. I cannot get out of this, or I can't hide this orange thing, and I also need to add this to 3 so it's really smooth and nice. And go back to my editable poly. My ring is still selected because this yellow edges are there, so connect, and you have to say you have to do this check mark to say yes, it's done. So it's quite sharp. This should, I think I'll make it a bit softer. 93, oops, maybe that much. Yeah, so this will give me nice highlight in render. Like obviously in render it would be much more high quality than this, but this kind of black dark shader helps you to gauge things. So I'll confirm my changes, and I've got this now. Like I was saying, this top bit is really sharp, so let's add another one. So I'll just select like this and hit connect. I have to go, mate. I have lunch now. Have a great day. Alright, you go. Bye bye. Have a nice weekend. We'll catch up soon. So I'll connect this and bring this up, really make it sharper. Now see, doing this, it's breaking my what's happening is my symmetry weld threshold, it's falling into that and it's welding this vertices. So I'll close that, come on symmetry and add 0.01 to all. So it's telling symmetry that if the points are really on top of each other, like right on top, then only merge them. So again, come here, and if I say connect, see, now it's maintaining that shape. Now let's press F4 and look at it from this side. How sharp is this? 96, maybe 95. Let's keep a little bit of thing, like I was saying, because if I go to 90, like something like 98, 99, see, it will create a very sharp blade reflection in render, so you don't want that. So 98, 97, 96, maybe 95, and yes, this thing looks really sharp and I don't see any highlights passing through. So actually let's bring it to 96. Yeah, cool. So as you can see, this thing is holding up. Now even this side I would go with similar settings. So I'll select this guy, ring, connect, and oh yeah, if this happens, this is clipping your view plane. So if you click on perspective and say show viewport clipping, you'll get these two arrows. You can bring this up and this down, so you can really go in closer. So let's see on the other side. So this, I'm looking at this corner, like around here, at how sharp I want to go, and let's see. .96, probably keep that much. Yeah. All right. Now, from top view, if I see, let's match up the model in top view, right? So Alt X. Oops. Now I'll select this guy, press Alt X, go to this, and just move my shape into the place. So bring this up and bring these guys back, and it's a bit wider, so select all of these, go in a bit, and obviously I need to bring in one set of support edges to bring this shape out. So I'll select all of these, connect, and bring this to center, press OK, get this guy, select that, bring it up, and now obviously, as you can see, my shape is not following this thing extremely perfectly because of this edge loops. So this particular edge loop, which is my support loop, I'll bring it ahead. So I need to come out of this because I had this guy selected, right? So if I come here and select from here this thing and these guys, right, and go to my side view and keep these two both the views aligned, and because I'm working on the front one, right, not on that. So looking at this, I can start bringing this up to get my shape right. So yeah, now I have my rounding happening properly. I'm not liking the flow of this particular side of things. I'll probably bring this up a little, right, and go to my front view. Now let's fix the bottom. So bottom is a bit wider than the top, so I'll pull these guys out, right, and I need my final edge loop at the bottom. So select that and say connect and bring this all the way down, and I'll press Alt X, and now I'll just quickly open this guy and see how sharp this is. So it's quite sharp, and I hope I don't spill nail polish on the thing. And it has I'm not gonna make the whole interiors because it's quite opaque paint, but it's really sharp and almost flat, so I'll just quickly do that. I may what do you guys say, should I make the inside of the things with this round bits and everything? We can have a shot render then where this thing is open and lying on the side or something. Let me know in the chat. As of now, I'm sticking to outside thing, but if you guys are interested, we can go into those details. And let's see on this side. Yeah, see how nicely the highlight is flowing. Okay, let's keep it at that. So that's more or less, the cap is done. Looking at this view, I think I need to bring these guys a bit somewhere around there, and see, I'm losing shape in my front view a little bit, so this is something which will always be there, you know, back and forth, because it would be really hard and next to impossible to shoot exact orthographic thing of something. But I think does it have, no, it's quite straight actually. Yeah, it's straight, but I'll keep that edge loop in there just in case I feel that I need to bring these guys out a little, but it's quite straight. It's in front of me. Yeah, actually we don't need this edge loop, so control backspace and Alt W, deselect this thing and just check out the model if I can see any issues. And the top part is also very flat, which is, yeah, it's flat. Okay, I think it looks fine. So now there are two things we can do here. Because I have instance set up, maybe I can just take this whole thing and keep modeling as a single piece, so I don't have to set these three guys up again. And yeah, actually let's do that, and we can then later on detach things. That way I can show you render elements side of things. So I'll turn off my turbo smooth, right? Select my box plane, select everything like that, and press Alt and drag on top. So I've got my bottom selection. If I press Shift and bring this down, it asks me if I want to separate it as a new object or clone to element. So I'll say clone to element for this, right? And it's a part of this thing. So again, I just need to model this half and everything will follow. And let's do one more thing, is take this guy, press Shift, bring it and make instance and make it snap 45 degrees, so I am seeing the bottom of it, right? And let's align this guy up. Yep. Now obviously for the bottle it's much more rounded, so we'll have to adjust our bottom faces. Whew. So I'll select all of this, select that, bring it all the way down to the bottom, go to my perspective view, zoom in, and if I press 2, now the border thing I was talking about, if I select this, see how it's selected all the borders, and let me do that. See that? It selects all the connected open edges which are there, but what we need is just these guys. So this, press Ctrl to extend your selection and till here. If I double click this again, it will like select the whole loop, and yeah, I mean that also did it. Now if I press Shift and just bring this up and press Alt X for having a see-through thing, and move this right up here, right? Now my bottle on the bottom is much more rounded than what I have here. So if I again double click this guy, turn on my turbo smooth, so I can see how much I'm doing. Now there is something you can do so your topology doesn't change. Now since this thing is really simple right now, I can just move it up, but should you need to constrain it, there is an option for you can turn on constraint, like do it on an edge only. So let me show you quickly how. So if I take, let's say, vertex, and this works with everything, edges, faces, vertices. If I say to edge, see if I move this, it will always stay between these two edges, and it kind of helps when models get more complex. Like if I try to even bring it out, it will never come out, it will always snap to that edge. Then you have face and normals, so and none. So right now we don't need constraints for this one. Select that, Alt W, Alt X, bring this up. So I'm looking at this rounding down here. Also the so at first glance it looks really as if, is it going in? No, it's quite flat, and it's coming up here, and let's put it on grid. It's pretty much flat actually. It's a very simple model. Oops. So select these guys, bring this up. I'll select these and bring it in, and maybe about there. Oh no, let's just try and match it as much as possible. Another thing I need is, now if I select element and click on my cap model, I can just bring this up so it's not obstructing my view. Yeah, now let's get this. Now you see there is a sharp edge transition happening over here. See this sharp edge over here, and then it's kind of coming in, and there is a little bit of like a C curve, but that could be my mask which has not been done correctly, because when I'm seeing, it's almost straight and then it's going in. So let's go here, select that guy, select editable poly, and I need this sharp line over here, so bring this down around there, and then what I can do is hit chamfer. So I'll turn off my turbo smooth to see what's happening, and it's too much right now. So see this? Now if you press Alt, it will increment very slowly. If you press Control Alt, if you press Control, it's really fast. So pressing Alt, you can really make small adjustments. Also, because I want that tight lip, I need to make this to 3. So there is 1 in the center. Before doing that, let me show you this thing as well quickly. Press X, Alt X to go out of X-ray view. If I click on this, I can create a gap between things as well. So see that? But right now I just need this. So, and turn on my turbo smooth, press Alt X for and F4, because I don't want to see the, and let's look at things from this place, and I'll modify it here. Let's see. See this slim line? That is exactly what would create blade reflections. And I'm not getting that line in here because I've just moved this back, but I haven't moved these guys in. So before adding that, let's just select these two and these two and just move them back a little bit. So oh wow, so Alt X, oops, Alt X. I've shot this in, but there is a bit of perspective in that image. Let's see, I need to align this as well. So as you can see, my thickness here, it might be too much, but then according to the cap it's not. So if I select this, come up here, press Alt X, select this element and bring it down. Yeah, see, it's lining up nicely. And okay, so it's going in quite a bit, but the amount which I'm seeing in the actual bottle for this bottom part that I'm working on, this angle, this is almost similar on this side as well. So the amount which I've got here, from here to here, I'll try and replicate to bring exactly that much inside as well. So select these guys, select these and these, double check nothing wrong is selected, and this has gone in. Maybe I don't, let's select that, and I'll look at here. Okay, let's look from this angle only and bring this in, and I'll go to my side angle and look how much I want to get this thing in. So yeah, roughly that much. See, since this is not CAD modeling, it's never going to be 100% precise, right? If you're using something like Fusion 360, Rhino, CATIA, Dassault Systems, or any other CAD program, you can be really precise about things and have exactly things coming in, which is something that you can look into as well. Like if you are supposed to make products day in and day out, which needs CAD precision, then make it in CAD, bring it here and just retopologize that like from high res to low res, and you'll get really nice results. So let's again go to chamfer, and it remembers my old settings, and now let me turn off grid. See, I'm getting nice shape over here. But what I need to do is I need to make it ever so slightly softer. Somewhere around there. Yeah, seems fine. Highlights are moving nicely. Yeah, so let's lock that. So that's the base of the bottle. Now we need to model this inside part, yeah, because we'll be filling things in from the bottle, and it will help with creating a realistic render, because this bottle has thickness. It's made of glass. Glass refracts in a certain way, and I'm just seeing that right now. Wow, it's got huge distortion. So let's see, I need this inside shape, right, this guy to be modeled. And if I open this a little bit, so okay, it's almost flat and then goes into a round thing. So let me zoom out, select this element, really take it away from the view, and notice I'm just pulling this up because I don't want to do this, otherwise I'll have to align things again, and obviously it breaks my thing because symmetry is also there. But yeah, move it in a way so it's just not in the way, right? And okay, let's think about this. So I need a edge loop there, so connect. But before doing that, let's close this up, and for that we'll refer to this, so just going like that. Okay, press 2 to go in edge mode, select these two edges and pull this up, and in my y-axis I need to flatten it so I can select this guy and it will give me exact straight thing, right? And bring it to home. Okay, now this is where I'll have to refer to this guy. So it has this, so I need to add edge loop here, so select that, bring, connect, and bring this guy close to this guy, right, around, maybe around there. Let's see the top guy, so This is okay. So this will connect over there, so I'll probably bring him around there, press OK and press 2, press 2, select this guy, extrude this and say target weld and just connect it over here. And then for this guy I can do the same, so W, extrude it, target weld, select this edge, this one, and just connect it there. And now okay, press W, select all of these, say connect, and really bring this up somewhere on there. One more thing that I try and do is I always try and keep this as square as possible, like something like that. Usually gives good results. So okay, now if I'm supposed to make if I'm going to make this guy this center thing and do a watertight model, then this is probably where I'll make a decision that okay, the base shape is fine and collapse these guys minus the turbo smooth, so symmetry is gone and I get a whole thing. Because to create a hole down here, what I need to do is there are quite a few ways actually. So the best way that according to sub-D modeling is if you select and editable poly, make this into a gray, turbo smooth, add 2-3 divisions, isoline. So if I go to this and top view, yeah, if I select these guys, do I have regularize UV script in my thing? Edge registry, or maybe it works on edges. No, I don't have that script right now. It's called regularize or circularize. So let's quickly jump to this and not create a script, spot loop regularizer. Yeah, this guy. So what this script does is you select a bunch of edges and it gives you this perfect, as close as possible perfect round, and you want minimum this 4 faces, so it gives you 8 sides, right? So let me quickly download this and in scripts, save, show in folder, and just drag and drop this script over here. Right now if I right click, I get this regularize, invalid edge loops. Oh yeah, I need to deselect this, it's just borders. So I hit regularize and it creates this round. Right now here's the fun part. So oh yeah, one more thing, there's always one more thing. So let's say I want to change my selection to any other thing. If I press Control and click on the other thing, like to vertices, it will retain that edges and convert them to vertices. Or if I click on polygons, it will select everything because obviously it was the center polygon. So for example, if I had selected this and if I control click this, it will select all the polygons connected to that. Right now I'll turn this guy on and say where is inset gone? Yeah, inset. So I'll click F4 and go into perspective so you guys can see. basically inset will see this over here. It will bring in things equidistance from the selection, and I'll say OK. And see, in polygon mode, if I pull this up, it will ask to clone to element and all. I don't want that, so quickly select these guys, and I'll hit extrude and bring this really down, and I'll try and visually match that I have same distance over here roughly, so about there, maybe a little bit more. And then if I hit plus, it will again extrude that much extra, but now I can just pull this up. So, and I'll hit another plus and just go a little bit, press OK, hit inset, and it remembers my last settings, but maybe I want to make it a bit more smoother. About there, press OK, and that is how you would add a cylinder on top, or you can go in the other direction as well. So F4, select my polygons, and I could have gone in as well, so not insert, extrude. What am I doing? So go in a little bit, and I'll press F3 for that so I can see better. About there, press plus and just bring this guy in. Press F3 and F4, and I have got this thing. And if I again assign my modeling shader, oops, press OK. I assigned it to polygons by mistake, so assign that. So I can see how sharper my turns are. So that is something we need to do here, right? But because I'm using symmetry and I'm just modeling this one half, what I need to do is take these 4 polygons and insert them. And yes, I can model it from what I have as well, but if I collapse it, it's just going to be much more easier, and then maybe I can delete the model and continue from there. But before doing all of that, let's get this inside guy sorted out, right? So I'll select this, delete, press Ctrl S, and then save as, because I'm going into, I'll do my take up. So okay, select this guy, turn on my turbo smooth, F4, double checking things are looking good, and I'll go to my editable poly elements, select the whole thing, and let me think. I want to bring, so I'll press R, press shift, and just ever so slightly scale this down, right? And just say clone to element, okay. And maybe turn off my smoothing so I can sort out the interior shape. So select this and just select these guys and bring them in a little bit, and select everything, go to my side, why is it not showing it here? Okay, so press, select this guy and deselect the center things and just bring this in a little. Yeah, so that's the beginnings of the interior of our model. So just like the cap, I'll select element, select the exterior of the bottle and move it down, and now we can work on the interior shape. press Alt X, Alt W. Now for this, the top is really up there, so I'll just bring it up, maybe up till here, I don't know, and bring this guy, bring this up. The interior is really smooth, it doesn't have this edges, so press 2 and select this, hit Ctrl backspace, select that edge loop, hit Ctrl backspace, and press 1 and line this up around here, deselect this, go up, deselect that, and around there, and I'll bring this in, and then I need to take these two guys and pull them down, so I get nice flow of lines. And I think overall the whole thing needs to come down and in a little bit. So now obviously if you want to break the symmetry, like see how this shape is different and this is different, we can always do that. That will add more realism, but let's keep that for the end. A lot of times so this is a really funny thing, right? Photographers try to clean every single dust and speck to make things look real and more premium and more CG-ish, I would say. And in CG side of things, we add imperfections to make it more photoreal. So I think the term I would say would be hyperreal. So that is what we are trying to do. We are trying to sell the product, and they might ask for this consistency, because I'm quite sure if my retoucher friends were retouching this, they would just use what is it called, liquify, and try to straighten this out and make it even as much as possible. Anyways, so let's keep it here. This should help. And okay, let's bring things in their place. So let's start detaching things, right? So first I want my bottle to be in the right place, and I'll just bring the whole element up and line up with my grid over here. I can see my small bottle patches inside. Take this guy, bring this down, so our low poly base is ready, and I mean it is almost good to go and render this. If you see, we have got the interior shape and exterior. So maybe we can start the way I like to do things is I like to send things to render as soon as possible. Simple reason being, then I know what I need to fix in modeling or something, especially for projects like this, which is more print specific rather than CGI and animation. And that is something I try to do in animation as well, like run through the whole process and then start refining it and refining it and refining it till I have to finally deliver, you know, because that way, if worst case scenario, I have something to give to my client, you know, I would always want to make it more and more perfect and better. So I think, yeah, let's detach this guy. So editable poly. So when I detach, I think my clones here will break as well. So let's go to tools, layer explorer, and these are caps, right? So I'll make a copy of cap, name it, make sure I do copy and say bottle, and I'll hide this guys, and for my bottle I'll go to editable poly select element and delete, select and delete. So I've got my model there, and if I go to this, I've got my full model. Now what I can do is, cap, I'll unhide and hide the model, and for cap I'll go here, editable poly, and select the bottom element, these two, and delete that, right? So and let's name this properly. This will be cap side view, cap underscore side, cap underscore top, and if I press F4 you'll see top view, and this is bottom underscore view, bottom view. Okay, now turn on my model. Now we can always split the inside of the bottle and the outside, or if we are making that circle thing, I think let's do that, but first we'll light it, and then maybe next week we'll look into going into that side of things. So for bottle I'll press Ctrl V, instance, and I'll name this underscore side, right, and press E, rotate this, move this on X. I'll copy X value from here, so Ctrl C and just paste it here, and voila. Same thing here, move this here, instance, okay, rotate it for top view, W. Now I need to get X and Y for this, so X is Ctrl C and Ctrl V, and I think Z as well. So I have Z at one point, this, and I'll add that, and I've got my instance model lined up. I hope you see the benefit of how efficient this workflow is. Instead of, imagine you had layouts and doing this, if I had like this, going from this to this to this, now I just have to worry about these two, and I can see everything at a glance while I'm working here in orthographic, and when I need to be in perspective I can look here. So hence I've been following this since I saw Artem working like this. So I'll bring this instance, okay, press E, rotate it to other side, W, and just copy these guys X and Y values, so Ctrl C and Ctrl V, and there, it's done. Alt X, Alt X, Alt X, Alt X, and give everyone my modeling shader, maps, M for maps, you can remember it like that, or material editor. I'll copy this, and for the bottom of the bottle I'll just for this guy I'll apply this, rename, and say glass MTL, and I'll just increase my refract, and I can see through, and to get some color in I can make it red, but no, so F4. So yeah, I think, wow, we have been going on for 2 hours 20 minutes. I guess this is it for this week, guys, and thank you for joining me, and let's continue from here on to next week. Yeah, all right, cheers everyone, thank you, bye bye. Do I have anyone left? Oh, all right guys, thank you for being here. Yeah, we'll call it a day. Have a great weekend. Next week, instead of modeling too much, we'll start setting up materials and lights for this thing and see how it goes. This branding and all thing, we might be able to pull it off next week. If not, then the following week or something like that. But yeah, thank you for being here and joining me. Cheers. Bye-bye. Bye.